What's up, everyone? Welcome to This, That, and the Other, where we're talking today about the NBA Finals again, and the Toronto's Raptors continue to fight as they now go up 2-1 in the series against the Golden State Warriors, a team that everyone still, despite all the evidence, I guess you could say, everyone still thinks it's going to be Golden State. Everyone nationally, everyone locally, and I just keep shaking my head. They just keep underestimating this team. No one has yet to give this team any respect. Tonight they beat a Warriors team that didn't have Klay Thompson or Kevin Durant, and a lot of people are going to point to that. One thing I'm going to point to is that if Klay Thompson plays, Steph Curry doesn't score 46 points. So, and actually I thought that was a detriment to the team. Not his scoring, but when you have half your almost any time a player seems like has half a team's points, it's usually not a good situation unless you're putting up like 63 points or something ridiculous like that. But like I said, people still continue to discount the Toronto Raptors, and I keep feeling more and more like I know how this story's going to end. It's gonna take till the final buzzer, till people finally admit that the Warriors are done. And so the Raptors have another game in Oakland. Yeah, I believe it's on Friday or Saturday. And I just think, I honestly don't even know if Kevin Durant's coming back. If he doesn't, the series is all but over. We've seen 3 games. Raptors have played the same way each time. Game 2, didn't make a video after Game 2 or Game 1. And I feel bad I didn't make a video after Game 1 because that was a great game for an entire country. Watching their team play in their first NBA Finals and win the first game on their own court was an awesome thing. And Game 2. The Raptors, second half, the shots just weren't falling, and the Warriors did kind of, they did end up getting big contributions from some unknown people like Andrew Bogut. I just shake my head because he hasn't been playing at all, and all of a sudden he's just kind of, playing a garbage man and a damn good one, to be honest with you. And some of these other guys like Dalvin Cook, who had a pretty big role in Game 2. Game 3 tonight, he got exposed again, kind of showing that the Warriors bench is not that deep. So, I think this Raptors team just keeps on getting better and better. So you look at now the series, it's 2-1, but the Raptors also won 2 of the regular season games, and my question is for all you guys who're still picking Golden State, when is that second foot going to hit the ground? When is this whole series going to turn around, and when is Golden State going to just put their foot on the throats of the Raptors and crush their hopes and dreams? Because the Raptors are very much alive, and I think even with Kevin Durant, if the Raptors go up 3-1, I still think, and Kevin Durant comes back, I still think the Raptors are winning this series. A, because Kevin Durant's going to be rusty as hell, and B, because he's not a mentally tough player. Raptors are going to get in his head, and even with their whole supporting cast, the talent gap is not that great that the Warriors are going to win 3 games in a row, even with Kevin Durant and Klay Thompson. So, and they say like there really isn't even enough shots for all these guys. I mean, it's like you saw tonight. Klay Thompson goes down. Steph Curry assumes his role. He plays. He takes a double shift and he scores both of their points. And so, I mean, I think their offense is already kind of maxed out potential-wise, and it's just going to make it easier, I think, for the Raptors, because Durant's going to try to take over the game. Those other guys are going to get less and less shots, and the Warriors are not prepared to handle that. They're not prepared to give their team over to one player and have him save the team. Now, if Durant does come back and he does bring him back from hypothetically a 3-1 deficit, then you got to give him some huge props, because you have to say that he resurrected that team from the dead in the finals against a very good team. This is the best team that the Golden State Warriors have played in the finals, and this is probably the worst team that the Warriors have had in the finals. So you add those two things together, it'd be very, very heroic. It'd be an MVP kind of thing to happen for Kevin Durant. It would be, it would be a storybook kind of thing, and I would certainly just be disappointed. But I would still definitely still recognize that for what it is, or what it was. Sorry. And another thing that I thought was pretty upsetting was just the commentary. In this game was just so ridiculous. They were acting like this was a close game. It was embarrassing. Like, they kept acting like the Warriors were like on the verge of some huge run. Closest they got for most of the game was like 7 points. And they really never got closer than that, 8 to 7 points. And they kept, every time Curry, granted he had a good game tonight, shot about 50%, hit his free throws for the most part, and I didn't see him really make a whole lot of plays, for other guys. I know he had assists, but I don't think he was, I really don't think he did what he needed to do tonight, scoring all those points. I think he needed to, even though he had a depleted roster, you still need to get your other guys involved. Like I said, I'm gonna end with this. On that point, is just that you cannot ever expect, unless you're having one of the games for the ages, you can't expect a player to score like 40 some points and have a pretty good game and score almost half your team's points and expect to, be in contention for the win. But so they just, the commentators, they kept downplaying Toronto. I felt like they kept talking about the injuries, and then late in the broadcast, I think it was Mark Jackson said, if this was, if they didn't have Durant or Klay Thompson in the NBA or in the regular season, Golden State would have missed the playoffs. And I don't know if I agree or disagree. I think that's a pretty bold take. I think it's kind of a shock value thing, but you're kind of being a hypocrite. You're just saying the Warriors are so great, and on the other hand, you're downplaying the Raptors by saying these Warriors wouldn't have made the playoffs. But the fact is, the Raptors beat them even with Klay Thompson, and the Raptors won a game by 30 against the Warriors when Kevin Durant played in the regular season. And like I said, I just think they're being hypocritical. It's not, it's not the end of the world. It's not unexpected. This is their typical song and dance. We saw it in 2004. We saw it with the Mavericks against the Heat. And I guess that's just the way these guys operate. Everyone is so afraid to take a stand, to pick the Raptors to beat the Warriors. And I picked the Raptors, and I think it was a bold take at the time, but I guess I was just thinking, why not? This just seems like as good a chance as any for the Warriors to finally go down. And, I just don't see it not happening at this point. These Raptors just keep getting better and better. Siakam is, if I don't know if he's a free agent, but he's going to be, if he is, he's going to get a lot more money than he did when the playoffs started, because, even when I was watching him play against Philadelphia, it seemed like he was a nice player, nice role player, can score at times, and in the finals, he's been a super dynamic player, very similar to what Draymond Green is to the Warriors. And, Kyle Lowry is just battling out there, and DeMar DeRozan is cool and collected, and he's doing his thing, and they're all for the most part, been very consistent with the exception of Game 2. And I thought, really the story of Game 2 was foul trouble. How many minutes did Kyle Lowry play? I'd guess he probably didn't play more than 30. That's just a guess. Marc Gasol, was not. He had a pretty bad game in Game 2. Tonight it was a pretty good game for him, but he did airball. He wasn't a very good threat from 3 in this game, but he still got a lot of points down low. And Danny Green, I'd be a horrible person if I didn't mention his efforts tonight. 6 of 9, I believe, from 3-pointer. And he's got that experience that the Raptors need, being in the finals from the Spurs, similar to Kawhi. This is a championship roster. These guys are either coming from successful backgrounds in the NBA, or they're finally at the point where they've taken their lumps and lost enough games, I guess you could say, in the playoffs, to where now they're just very battle tested. And you want another big take from me? I'm going to tell you right now. This Raptors team. Okay, so I guess I already mentioned this, but this Raptors team is better than that Cleveland Cavaliers team back in 2016, I believe. And I have it on very good authority. So, I just don't know why these media people cannot learn their lesson. When you see a team like Toronto upset Milwaukee, and the series that against Philadelphia, even though, looking back now, it never would have been a 7-game series. No way, and no way would that happen. And they just keep building momentum. They keep gaining more chemistry, and they're just blind to it. I'm not saying that these guys have to, they don't always have to take a bold take, but make it a little bit more bipartisan. This Warriors team is it's this year in the finals, it's so far from automatic. And I think that's an understatement, and I just think that right now Toronto has the momentum on their side. They let one game slip out of their hands, and as soon as that happens, they come back, and they're not, you're not beating them at that point. So, that's all I have to say for the NBA Finals at this point, and I hope you guys enjoy the rest of the series. Like, comment, and subscribe if you would, please, and let me know what you think of the finals, what you saw out there. Am I off base? I don't think I am, but let me know what you think. I look forward to it. Enjoy the rest of the NBA Finals, and we'll see if I put out another video before the finals are over. I definitely will once it goes final. And if the Raptors end up blowing this, then I'll own up to it. I'm still gonna stand by it, because I don't think, looking at me now, worst case scenario, you're looking at a 6-game series if everything goes perfect for Golden State. And if the Warriors aren't winning in 7, you can't come back at me and say, what about that bold take? My bold take was that the Raptors would be winning it in 7. They end up losing it in 6 or losing it in 7. Guess what? I wasn't too far off. So, but anyways, still like to hear what you guys have to say. And like I said, enjoy the rest of the NBA Finals, and go Raptors.